This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, the Matildas have been over in Europe for a couple of weeks and they've been able to play a couple of friendlies against big-time teams. So the first one was a couple of nights ago against Switzerland where they drew one apiece.
Yep.
And last night they got to play Germany in Duisburg where they were able to get the victory.
That's exciting.
2-1. Nice
Yeah.
victory. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Kyra Cooney-Cross was the person who got the wheels turning. Germany scored first. Australia need to answer back. She was just inside the halfway mark and she decided to have a ping. This
ripping
is the
goal.
call.
Cooney-Cross is going to shoot from distance. Incredible! Australia are level. And it's Kyra Cooney-Cross for the first time in Matildas colours, scoring for her country.
Wouldn't you make that your ringtone?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd have to.
absolutely.
How
absolutely.
good would that be wherever you
Yeah.
are?
Yeah, that's a really good
You
point.
should get some of the old calls from your
Yeah.
back in the day and make them your ringtone
Oh, yeah.
instead of making us watch it on YouTube.
Well, you know,
And then
you
we
can't
can
get it
then
up.
we can
or is
just
that
call
me?
you. You can
Is that
feel
me?
it. You can feel the buzz, Shaun.
That was her
Back in the game.
50th cap too. So it was
Never
a
scored, 50th cap.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Big game for Kyra.
So the goalkeeper's off the line. She's absolutely just launched one. It was a bit Sam Kerr-esque in the World Cup,
It
which
had
was
that
played
vibe,
here.
didn't it? Yeah.
She just launched it over the
What's happening with Sam
goalkeeper's
Kerr?
curve.
She's still recovering from
coming back
it.
from the
Yeah.
So
knee.
how long's it been since she's played now? It's such a big stint, isn't it, for injured
Just over
athletes?
a year because
That's
the
crazy.
World Cup was around September last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was the calf injuries, but it wasn't
Yes.
until she did a knee further after that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love all the.
she's still got a bit of time.
I love
to
all
go,
the
probably.
fans of the Matildas and also of I don't know who he plays for. Nathan Cleary. Who does he play for?
Oh, he plays for
Her
Penrith.
partner. Yeah, they're all like just all the talk about the fact that he wants to move to the UK and whether she wants to leave the Matildas to go with him.
Yeah.
Everyone's watching their relationship to see what it's going to
Yeah.
do for them. Must
The
be full on.
Super League over in the NRL. Over in the UK, whether he plays in that or not. But getting back to Australia, fantastic win. It was outstanding stuff to be able to get that victory. Claire Hunt was the other person who scored, and she was the first. She's a first-time scorer as well.
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
well done to her. The Aussies getting the victory. The other big news was Eric Ten Hag has got the axe from Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs that we've seen in the last 30 years, probably.
So what's he
And-
done wrong?
Well, they're sitting at 14th on the ladder, and they, as Manchester United,
Yes.
expectations are high. He, was appointed 2.5 years ago. He did win the FA Cup and he did win the Leagues Cup, so he's got 2 trophies in the bank.
Yeah.
But everybody's
that's
been
not
gone
enough.
for him.
How
Isn't that
much of his
amazing?
contract was left to go?
I'm not sure, Nath. I don't know if he was on a 3-year deal or
I don't
whatever
even
the
need
case
to know
is.
the money
just
really,
a
but I know,
weekly
I'm
tenancy.
pretty sure the payout would have been pretty
Right.
exciting, wouldn't it?
I'd imagine it was okay, but those managers go from job to job, which
Yes.
I don't think is a bad thing because they
Yeah.
can finish up at one club and still be appointed at another joint. Where in other sports, particularly in Australia, number one, once you get axed from a team, it's like that's it for you.
Yeah.
And
It's like you've done
secondly,
your dash in
yeah.
the whole industry. It's like, come on, they've still got knowledge. What are you talking about?
I totally agree, Nat. And the other thing they always used to do here in Australia is when you get to a certain age, they just put a
Yeah,
line
write
for
you
you.
off, yeah.
In American sport,
Yeah.
they're coaching top-level sport until
In their
they're well into the
70s,
70s.
yeah.
Hopefully that changes here. But it was Eric Ten Hag out the door. Ruud van Nistelrooy, he's a former United player striker. He was an absolute freak. He is taking over as the interim coach. And the last thing that just came up just now in the last 15 minutes is the Ballon d'Or winner was Manchester United's Rodri, who's a central midfielder. And it's not so there's always been Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi have taken this
Yes.
award out for year upon year. But this year's guys...
So
who
who is
blood.
he? Is he-
He's just a Manchester United,
Yeah.
Manchester City guy. He's a Spanish player. And the women's Ballon d'Or was taken out by Atana Bonmati, who's
Also
also a
Spanish,
Spanish player. So they had a big year for the Spanish.
Are you known as that nominee or that winner? Like, Academy Award nominee?
Yeah.
So you're
Oh, yeah,
forever.
Ballon d'Or.
Academy
Yeah,
Award.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Academy.
Yeah. It's a big honour.
Yeah, it's huge, huge.
I was looking at the top 30 in the women's, and the men's, obviously, but the women's. There's not one Aussie. We don't have anybody in the top 30. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, I'd imagine the men's, that absolutely rings
Yes.
true for me. The women's, Mary
I don't
Fowler,
know.
I would have thought
that
she would have
somebody
been
might
up
have
there.
snuck in. Yeah.
I would have thought she'd have been
Are we
in
one
there.
of the best teams in the
Mackenzie
world,
Arnold.
are we? Like, talent-wise?
I think
So we've got
we're
Sam,
rated
we've got
12.
Mary, we've got
Mackenzie Arnold's a good one, yeah.
So
Mackenzie Arnold.
Hayley Rasso.
I thought they were
Steph
like
Catley.
right at the top of the world.
Caitlin Ford.
I
Yeah,
thought, I
that-
thought Sam Kerr was.
Oh, she hasn't
She has
played.
been. She
hasn't played.
Hasn't
yeah.
played for a year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Rasso, she's a Jet.
Yeah.
And Mary Fowler, she's a Jet
Yeah.
too. And Caitlin
Ford.
Ford is really good as well.
Mary
So I
Fowler
thought that
is
would
who
have been
you'd
top
cast
30.
in a movie as a chick that plays soccer. She's like,
Yep.
yeah.
That's all we got to say
She
about
looks
it.
great.
and
She looks great.
Shaun agrees.
She looks
Okay.
Sean Sport in podcast form.
Back page of today's West, Justin Langer is urging Australian selectors to choose Cameron Bancroft for the opening test
Are
role.
they going to listen to him?
They haven't in the past because last year Justin was calling for the same
Yeah.
position to be taken. There was talk because we spoke to Brett Lee last week, and he was saying that Josh Inglis would be someone that they could look at.
He's a bit of a
to
smoky,
open.
yeah.
But they've decided, the Australian selectors, that Josh is in line to play in the test squad, but he won't be as an opener. So that only leaves the couple. So
Yes.
at least Cameron Bancroft this stage is still in the running. The other news around at the moment, and people would have heard all the soccer stuff, so Matildas were able to get the win over Germany, so well done to the girls there. Eric Ten Hag getting the axe from Manchester United, which is big news all around the world. But the other news locally is that WA is still in the running for that NRL team to come into the competition
so
in a
the
couple
Bears,
of years' time.
Yeah.
So the government had to revise their commitment
Yep.
to the NRL, and at this stage, it's certainly back on the table.
Really?
And we could have our own team, although it'll be linked to the Bears now,
North
which
Sydney
are North
Bears,
Sydney
yeah.
Bears,
Yeah.
which have been
Right.
defunct for a number
So
of
it's
years.
a little bit like
Brisbane. And
yeah.
it's
It's sort of
Yeah.
disappointing that we don't get to choose an animal and a team. You know what I mean?
Because there was
No,
some
I thought
talk
the-
about the Pirates for a while. Remember that?
But, I mean, like the Quackers. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not like, it doesn't make
It's
you
not- it's
frightened,
not-
no.
does it?
But I've
the
got no
drop
problem
bears,
back with
way more Australian.
the Reds. I've got no problem with the Reds coming back into the
The
competition.
Western Reds, yeah.
I mean, they were
That,
really
was
good.
that was kangaroos, wasn't it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
What about the white Burmers? 6 white Burmers. Oh, that's very of the time.
Yeah.
They can
So-
play the game really well and then buy all the property.
We'll see what happens then, but hopefully it's a success for the WA rugby fans. Do you
When
think
will
it'll
we
work?
know? When will we know?
Oh, God. Start of next year?
Yeah, they have to be successful. If they're successful
Yeah.
quickly,
Oh, so it
then
doesn't
we'll
work
jump
in
on
Perth.
that bandwagon for sure. But if they're not, we've got so many successful sports teams that it's hard to divert interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to be front of mind if you're not getting the
Yeah.
getting the chocolates on a
Yeah,
regular
100%.
basis.
As the Glory have found a little bit, when they were flying, they sold out Subiaco Oval for a final because where everybody was on board. But when they're not, you wouldn't even know
Lost
game
28.
was
And
on.
they sold
yeah.
out before Tad Lasso.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great point.
That's really good. Nathan's got something special for me to say.
I do. Shaun, Courtney Act, Australian drag queen.
Yes.
RuPaul's Drag Race, done that. Has done Halloween, got the costume ready early.
Yep.
Decided to do an AFL player.
Oh, yes, I've seen it.
Unbelievable.
Bailey Smith.
Let's put it on the screen.
Yeah,
Look
I
at
saw
that.
this the other day.
You would not be able to.
Yesterday.
You can't tell them apart.
Unbelievable.
It just looks like a photo shoot with Bailey
My
Smith.
favourite
looks-
part is at the end. He just sort of like prances off. Just seeing Bailey Smith.
Oh,
So
yeah,
now
prances
Bailey
off.
Smith
Yeah.
looks like he knows what he looked like if he was to prance off like a girl.
The only way it's not Bailey Smith is that he would now be wearing a Geelong jumper.
No, 100%.
That's
So
the only
my thing is, if you can get Courtney Act looking like that, can we get Bailey Smith looking like
To like
Courtney
Courtney
Act?
Act.
I mean, it really should go the other
Yes,
way.
it should. It should.
So he should for Halloween dress up as Courtney Act. What if they were twins? What if they are?
What if they're actually the same
What
person
if
and we
they're
never knew?
doppelgangers? You always want to meet your doppelganger.
Might have to teach Bailey how to do the tuck, I'd imagine.
No, I'm sure he's a football player, Shaun. He knows how
Yes.
to do it.
Exactly. Come on.
Sean Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.